Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rebecca Manning, and today I will be going over my exploratory analysis on health outcomes and social characteristics of readmitted patients with preventable disease and nutritional deficiencies. The literature has supported that diet and health have a synergistic relationship. We can see this representation of the relationship in its most simplistic form, although the interconnections between these variables can be quite complex. Therefore, for the purpose of this analysis, I thought of health as the absence of preventable disease and nutritional deficiencies. Preventable disease is an illness that can be avoided and/or lessened in severity with proper lifestyle habits. The relationship between vital macro and micronutrients and preventable conditions has also been widely studied and accepted as preceding and concurrent literature agree on the key sources and their utility. Due to the complex nature of diet and health, I decided to focus on lifestyle variables in my analysis and simplify my nutrient deficiencies to 6 vitamins, as they were cited in my literature review as most prevalent in patients with preventable conditions. I chose the 2018 HCUP readmissions patient sample, as readmitted patients are usually high consumers of healthcare services while also being vulnerable to improperly managed disease. As noted, a literature review was conducted to determine the preventable conditions I would include in my analysis. Heart failure, cerebral infarction, chronic kidney disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, metabolic syndrome, failure to thrive, and dental caries were selected due to consistent findings suggesting that patient behavior and nutritional intake are fundamental to the development of the condition, progression of illness, and/or post-diagnosis recovery. As for methods, I use a weighted logistic regression model for my initial and final model explorations. My target response variables changed as the utility of lifestyle variables for this type of precision analysis came into question. However, I've included those methods in the model for your review, as I find that they are informative and provide context to my ending discussion remarks. This is one of the 2 initial models I designed. One had all of the deficiencies included, and this one focuses specifically on vitamin D as an indicator. And I wanted to look at the presence of preventable disease using these independent variables listed. According to my estimates, we can see that age, gender, income, and presence of vitamin D deficiency were as expected with increasing risk for preventable disease, but negative lifestyle characteristics like lack of sleep, unemployment, and self-damaging behavior continue to show reduction in risk of the presence of preventable disease. The logistic regression curve does not resemble the classic S-shaped logistic. The magnitude and direction of the intercept term dominate the regression equation, so the risk hovers at approximately 0, as you can see in the plot. The slope coefficients in the model are not strong enough in magnitude to offset this intercept term, resulting in the flat logistic curve that you see here. So for my final model, I refined my variables to look at risk of length of stay greater than 10 days as indicated by preventable disease, number of deficiencies as a continuous variable, age, sex, income quartile, and only one of the chosen lifestyle variables, which is self-damaging behaviors. With this change, indicators are mostly as expected with increasing risk for 10 or more days of stay, with age, lowest income quartile, high numbers of deficiency, and presence of disease, whereas the lifestyle variable of self-damaging behavior continues to show just this reduction in risk. Using the estimates, I created 2 logistic regression equations, one that has change in presence of disease with highest income quartile, 3 deficiencies, and no self-damaging behavior at baseline. And I created another with change in number of deficiencies of 1 or 5, with presence of disease, highest income quartile, and no self-damaging behavior at baseline. From these logistic regression curves on the log transform age continuum, we can see that clearly the probability of an extended stay increases at a faster rate for patients with preventable disease, and even more so if those patients also have more than 1 vitamin deficiency compared to those at baseline. In conclusion, several key findings were consistent with clinical applications and the literature. For example, health disparities by social class, nutritional deficiency, and disease state are all well established in the literature, and anecdotally, these associations are intuitive and observable. While lifestyle characteristics contradict what we know about their influence as risk factors on certain health outcomes. The NRD file contains some valuable information on demographic and hospital characteristics. as these are observable traits that require minimal intervention and sometimes less inquiry on behalf of the medical staff reporting the information. On the other hand, lifestyle characteristics may not be as observable and they may need to probe patients for additional details. So I found using lifestyle variables to be quite inconsistent and also in contradiction with the literature. Surely, in looking at some of these analyses, we want to know if this is an extreme underestimation of the true prevalence of some of these lifestyle variables. Thus, this is a major limitation of using these data, and I found this in several of the models that I tried to create. So certainly this warrants further exploration as lifestyle variables and prognosis go hand in hand. Here are my resources, and thank you so much for listening to my presentation.